Welcome to Criminal AF, and for those of you joining us for the first time, this is a true crime podcast. There will be talk of murder, rape, torture, assault, and pretty much any crime that would haunt your nightmares at any given moment. There will be detailed descriptions of said events, and there will be some vulgar language.
Like fuck.
We understand that Criminal AF is not for everyone, but we just ask that you at least give it a listen. If it's not for you, hey, thanks for checking it out.
See ya.
But if it is, welcome to the debauchery. An electrician from East Sussex murdered 2 women in the late 1980s and sexually violated their bodies post-mortem. He remained free for another 30 years until his crimes finally became known, which now included over 800,000 images and 500 video recordings of him raping and posing more than 100 dead women. I'm Dave Jari.
I'm Garrett Corder.
And this is Criminal as Fuck. What's good, fuckers, and welcome back to another episode of Criminal AF.
Fuckers.
Once again, I'm Dave Jari, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Garrett Corder.
How we doing?
Now, we'd like to announce our newest members of the Debauched, as well as some upgrades. And they are Aussie Tracy, Chris Owen, Jay Rawlings, Sammy Kramer, Ashley O'Connor, and Megan Miller, as well as our upgraded followers Nikki Hammond and Chantal Seislick. Thank you all.
Love you guys.
Yes, thank you all so much for your generous support. Now, you can become one of the Debauched as well by joining our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Everyone gets ad-free episodes and access to our private Discord.
The community's growing over there too, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Come on and join the Patreon, all right?
Join the Patreon. We have a lot of
criminal.
fun.
The Discord's getting lit.
Yep.
It's fun. It's fun.
Oh, yeah. And for those who join a $5 tier or above, you'll get all of our audible, video, and downloadable content, including narrated scripts from every story, 5-Minute Murder, where I discuss a true crime event in less than 5 minutes, which Thor Christensen is coming soon for that one. Our Patreon-only bi-weekly podcast called Random AF, where we discuss anything and everything, and we don't hold anything back, do we, Garrett?
No, not at all.
No. It gets pretty crazy, and that's it's 100% not safe for work. So,
yes.
Plus you'll get our monthly Patreon-only episodes of Dreadful AF, where Garrett and I are joined by the incredible John and Joe from Spread the Dread podcast and discuss all things true crime, paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy theories.
Whatever.
Everything in between. Now, for the higher tiers, you can get all of this plus producer credits on every episode and some goodies thrown in like t-shirts, posters, coffee mugs, etc. So to choose your tier, just go to criminalafpodcast.com/support or click on the link in the episode description. There are other ways to support Criminal AF as well, and one is by visiting our show on Apple Podcasts, where you can leave a detailed review on why Criminal AF has had such a positive impact on your life and why you believe it is the #1
true crime podcast. And I mean, it's a fact, all right? It's a fact.
There you go. Yeah, the other way to help us out is by rocking our merch.
Go get you some merch.
Yes, sir. Now, there are tons of designs and products to choose from, like getting, you can get a t-shirt or, outfit your entire bedroom and bathroom in Criminal AF stuff. You know?
The thought of somebody stepping out of the shower and our faces are on their fucking bath mats is wild to me.
They open up their Criminal AF shower curtain and step on their Criminal AF bath mat while they wipe their ass with a fucking Criminal AF towel.
I never understood why the rugs on the fucking seats.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
On the toilets.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's disgusting in my opinion.
I
feel like that's a bacteria. Like I don't see that very often.
It's a haven for bacteria.
That's gross, man.
Right. Especially like when you have young kids and they're pissing all over the fucking toilet seats.
If you have one of those, you guys are you're insane. You're insane.
Those like 80s, 90s, like.
But I still see them in the store. Somebody's buying them.
They still have them?
Yes.
Nah, get the fuck out.
I swear to God.
Well, we're missing out on that.
It comes in a pack.
We need to capitalize on that. We need to get Criminal AF toilets. Furry toilet seat covers. So just go to criminalafpodcast.com. We have all the links there.
Mail call.
Now, prior to every episode, we send out an AMA on Instagram for a chance for you to ask a question to be answered on air. And today we have 2 of them. Now, the first is from Anna Marie 74, and she wants to know, what is your favorite English true crime story?
Mine's gonna sound
generic.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
It's got it. I know it's, but it is cool that he was never caught.
Right.
I mean, and this is just so many conspiracies around. I love a good conspiracy, so I'm gonna have to say Jack the Ripper. I know it wasn't exciting, but it is cool. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Now we're talking about conspiracy theories and everything like that. Now with Jack the Ripper, there's so many people that they've like put forward as who he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On top of it, too, if you really think about it, this guy has to be even more insane. Raping prostitutes back in the fucking mid-century, whatever it was. Like, could you imagine the smells that are coming out of that bed?
Dude, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that shit.
It's a double whammy. You got dead bodies, blood, guts, and the
Ugh, I'm gonna vomit. We actually talked about this on the Discord. Ugh.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, so get over there, guys, because trust me, the conversations are flowing.
Jay was like, he was talking about how not to get raped in prison.
Yeah, I know.
Just like,
That's definitely a random AF question,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Just
Because I have a full detailed explanation on how I'm going to survive.
Yeah.
And I'm not smearing shit on myself.
Well, that's what Jay said.
It's smart.
Yeah.
It's a smart way. It's a good way to go about it, but
But it's like, well,
people might fuck with you more, too. You could switch it.
right. But that's what I said. I mean, we're going back into medieval times where fucking smell didn't mean anything. You still had sex. So eventually people are going to get used to this fucking shit
like
smell.
at sex at that point. Well, I mean, if you think about like Louis the 16th and like all those guys, they
They
were
showered twice. Yeah, we talked about this.
No,
They
but
showered
I'm
twice
saying
their whole
as
life.
much as like some people will say sex was just reproductive purposes and like it was more of a primal thing.
Right,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? It was more of a primal thing. But I don't believe that because there were still womanizers back in the day too. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, like Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, there no. Hey, he's canceled. All right, he's canceled. You can't bring him up on this podcast.
What? Pepe got
Yeah, Pepe's canceled.
Shut up.
You didn't know that?
No? Why?
Dude, the woke agenda got him.
Because he's a womanizer?
Yeah, he's a womanizer. You can't have kids running around smelling up girls' crotches like Pepe Le Pew.
No?
Yeah. Swear to God, he's canceled. Pepe's canceled. To be fair, though, they did have a rapist on the Looney Tunes. I mean, come on. She clearly was saying no.
Right.
You know what's funny too is the outrage when they canceled like older TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like nobody really got outraged about Pepe Le Pew because deep down everybody knows that was wrong. There wasn't like Facebook memes and Fox News wasn't like, well, Looney Tunes is going woke. Like there was none of that because they knew damn well he was a fucking rapist. They were like, oh, okay, we'll give you guys that one.
The thing that cracks me up about Pepe Le Pew is that like you'd be sitting there watching and as he's like trying to seduce all these women and stuff, you know, he has like the cartoon aroma like thing going. He would pass by like normal people and they'd be like, oh, you know.
Yeah, they'd fall over.
Yeah, he still smells like fucking shit.
Yep. But back to the question. I don't know how we got to Pepe Le Pew at this point. This is how our brains work. But yeah, I'm Jack the Ripper. It's got to be for me.
Right, Jack the Ripper. All right, mine is going to be an episode that we actually did, and it's John Christie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the monster of Rillington Place.
That one's cool though because like at the end he set up a special person. Like there was a whole wild story behind that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. How he just like blatantly just fucking set this dude up.
Yeah.
Just so he can get his fucking rocks off with his wife. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the monster of Rillington Place, John Christie. Yeah, that's just a fucking tale and a half.
Yep. That was going. I never even knew about that story until we did that episode too. So it was a fun.
Well, I try it like so over here in America. Like when we hear of like serial killers like from overseas, whether it's like over in Great Britain or Australia or something, they're pretty mainstream. Like Harold Shipman.
Yeah.
Ripper, the guy there. What's his name? Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper. Yeah. I was like, wait, where are you going with the Ripper guy?
So it's like, you know, you try to find people that are a little bit more obscure.
Yeah, it's hard.
Us,
it's a lot harder for us to find, you know, the non-mainstream true crime stories from overseas.
Overseas, right.
Like us, like I'm sure a lot of people in Australia had no clue what the Cheshire murders were, you know what I mean, until we did the episode.
Exactly,
so,
yeah.
You know, we're trying to find the small ones.
And the one we're going to be doing today, I mean, is actually another one from Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, you know. But, yeah, so we try to find, like, the more obscure ones that, you know, the people in the United States haven't heard. But so when I came across the John Christie one, I was like, bro, this is fucking wild. The dude got killed based on his testimony and fucking all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. So yeah, I'm gonna go with him. So thank you very much, Anna. And next is from G Conway 22 asking, If every single serial killer is stuck in a mall and they have to fight to the death to get out, who is the last one standing?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a real good question. That might take some time, though, to really
Like
think
a
about.
battle royale.
Because I'm thinking, I instantly went mall. Okay, so we can use whatever's inside the stores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't just a brawl by
right,
hands.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, God. Pure strength. If we were just brawling it out in the food court,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? People jumping over the counties at the counters at like Arby's and shit like that.
Sliding across.
Yeah, sliding across. It's just a fucking brawl in the middle.
Machete.
I think Kemper is gonna. He'll be one that comes out of there.
Yeah.
I think. Bundy, all those
My
guys.
boy
They're
Kemper.
getting washed out.
Oh yeah,
They're getting stomped out easy.
Right.
But Dahmer would hold his own too. He's a big dude.
Yeah, you gotta think of because
I'm thinking like just sheer size and the way like.
I'm thinking the how do I say this without getting canceled?
I know where you're going. Where you're going. The guys who are going after men.
The
Stranglers?
No, the stranglers, but
Just say it.
the special strength.
You're talking about autistic strength?
I'm talking like the strength where you just where it's not like normal human strength.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it the super strength.
The super strength.
The super strength. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Dahmer would have the super strength.
Yeah.
Because he's like two different people. When,
Yeah. Plus, I mean, think about it. Like some of those guys were just chasing women. You know what I mean? They were manhandling women.
Yeah.
Dahmer was going after fully grown
like dudes.
Yeah. Like that's a different type of.
I mean, he would drug them and everything, but
nah, yeah, but there's probably a lot harder to carry the bodies around, do stuff like that. Like I said, Kemper.
Now, can we?
Michael Ross too. He's Michael Ross
was a strong dude. Yeah.
That would be interesting because you never know. Somebody might sneak up behind them. But if we're using the whole mall and we can like outsmart, you know what I mean? Like who would we go for smarts?
Well, we also got to think about the combo killers too. You know.
Yeah.
Like the toolbox killers.
Yeah, but the toolbox, they're like
they're bitches. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, I'm just saying it as an example. You know, you have like the combo. Oh, I got the perfect ones. Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka.
What, they're going to make it out alive?
Yep.
You're crazy.
I'm telling you right now. Carla is going to seduce all the dudes over. She's like, come on, guys, come back here.
No shot.
And Paul's going to kill him. No?
No way. No way. Because she's a liability.
Yeah.
He's going to have to try to, he's going to be, looking over his shoulder trying to protect her.
Right,
and then he's going to just get washed.
Wow, we could actually...
No, that's what I'm saying. You could deep dive. This could be an hour topic to really decide who would end up out of the battle royale.
Yeah, I think we should discuss this further on Random AF.
Yes, good question.
This is a great question.
Yeah, we'll talk about this on Random.
Just without putting
I'm gonna do my homework here. I'll be thinking about this for a couple of days, and we're gonna come back to you with an actual answer.
But I will answer this just to give you an actual answer. I'm probably gonna go with Kemper because he's 6'9". He has that that backwoods hillbilly strength where you can picture him picking up a log and just you know what I mean. I'm gonna go with Kemper.
Until Bundy comes out of Dick's Home Goods with some fucking golf clubs. Kemper ain't doing shit.
Bundy's
gonna come out with some golf clubs from Dick's.
Bundy needs to worry about that fucking unibrow he's got going on there.
Ramirez might be a little slimy bastard too.
Ramirez,
he would be in and out of the fucking ductwork and shit like that. You don't know where he is. He just waits.
Yeah, but you can smell him though.
Yeah, you can smell him. You fucking see the yellow glow from his teeth on the top of the...
You're walking through one of the stores and a tooth drops out of the vent.
You're like, fuck,
his teeth are falling out. Right?
It's Ramirez.
Oh, man, these are great questions by both. So thank you so much. But again, keep an eye out for on our IG to send in your questions. And Criminal AF will be back after this quick break. Garrett, go on a trip. Where do you want to go?
Well, I want to go to Florida, baby.
Yeah.
Drunk man causes chaos after breaking into Naples Police Department.
He broke into the police department.
There we go, Naples, Florida.
Okay.
Wow, all right, first off, too, I'm looking at the police department.
Yeah.
Naples is money? Is that an expensive community in Florida?
Yeah, I think so.
That's interesting. This police department looks like a fucking museum.
They have a spring training there, don't they?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but they have one in Lakeland, Florida, too, and Lakeland is
Is what, Garrett?
Ring a ding 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 ding. All right. Joseph Moulton, 36, jumped the fence of the south parking lot and went inside an unlocked police cruiser, where he sat for a few minutes until he saw people coming outside.
This is a 24-hour operation, right?
I'm sure he hung it seems planned, but it seems crazy too at the same time.
Okay, go ahead.
Moulton hid in the bushes and then took action once the coast was clear. According to the police report, Moulton used the nozzle of a water hose and shoved it.
I can hear like the I Spy music playing in the background. He's like Paul Blart. He stops in the middle.
Yeah. The fucking spotlight goes by him.
Yeah. I'm a tree.
According to the police report, Moulton used the nozzle of a water hose and shoved it underneath the west door before turning the water on, causing at least an inch of flood damage. So now we're vandalizing the police.
So he went on like a whole like mission.
Yeah, he had a vendetta against the police.
He's like, I'm gonna go hang out in the car just to say that I did it.
Yep.
And
then he was like,
doing
well,
selfies.
let me flood the police station.
Yeah.
All right, Moulton explored his way to the men's locker room and made himself at home by taking a shower and helping himself to some clothing. Bill Tyndall.
Police clothing. Or regular clothing.
It just says help himself to some clothing. Bill Tyndall, who was a Naples resident, said Moulton was a very ballsy guy for causing trouble inside a police station. Moulton took a uniform, a uniform, shirt, pants, cap, and a bulletproof vest, all worth over $900. The police report also described that he defecated on the woman's bathroom floor and dumped a police radio in the toilet. What do they do? How do they?
Like guys sleeping?
I didn't know it was so easy to break into a police department.
Does the Epstein fucking guards work there?
Yeah, they just fell asleep.
They fucking snoozing?
I mean, you know where I'm going. No, we can't.
So he fucking jumps a fence, he sits in a car for a fucking however, turns on a water hose,
floods the station, steals a uniform, pants, cap, and a bulletproof vest.
Takes a shit
on the woman's bathroom floor, and then dumped a police radio in the fucking toilet. It wasn't until Moulton made his way to the nearest 7-Eleven the police became aware of Moulton's actions.
He got out.
It's almost like he wanted to get caught, and then he was just sitting there in the fucking, after he'd shit on the floor, he's like, well, I guess I'm out of ideas. He probably waved to the dispatcher window. You know how when you go in a police station, like there's like, he probably waved at the fucking window on his way out. Freshly showered.
He's like, oh, I ran out of ideas, so I'm gonna head over to the 7-Eleven.
One employee called the police after finding Moulton suspicious and believed he was under the influence. A 7-Eleven employee called the police. Naples police were able to locate Moulton and arrested him. During his interview, he admitted to being under the influence and not recalling what he did.
Of what? Alcohol?
Under the influence. Moulton is being charged with grand theft and 2 counts of burglary. Naples police are not commenting at the moment as if they further their investigation.
They're not going to comment.
They're not going to be like, this guy was shitting in our fucking women's bathroom.
Like, we just want to forget this whole fucking thing.
Crazy.
Okay, now you're fucking...
That's actually impressive.
You got your fucking police gear, right? After you just flooded the fucking basement. You got your fucking police uniform that you just stole. You got your fucking body armor. You're fucking decked out. And you're just going to drop trow.
And take a shit.
And just take a shit.
The best part about this is if he would have just gotten a cop car, fully dressed, and then drove around and pulled people over too, it would have been the icing on the cake.
Right, yeah. Right. And then he could have fucking defecated...
Dude.
Imagine that. Dressing up, getting in the car.
And just pulling people over.
And then, please step out of the vehicle, please.
And then just shit.
And then just drop trow and fucking
shit. On the hood of the car and take a shit on the fucking hood of the car. You know how confused people... Oh, my God. Just to be a fly on the wall. At the person in the car, like, what is going on?
What are they doing? Do you know why I pulled you over?
I would instantly think it was like a prank show. I'd be like, where's the cameras? Where's the cameras?
That's crazy.
I was very impressed by this story because I was like, how the fuck did this guy get away with this much stuff?
Yeah, I mean, in an actual police station.
Yeah, he was he made it to the locker room. Is it that easy?
In their locker room, taking their shit.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm surprised you didn't fucking get like weapons and shit. That's fucking nuts.
This is actually more like usually the Florida Man stories are sad. This is actually very impressive.
I'm impressed.
This is impressive. Nobody was hurt. Was hurt.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, he just
wanted to take a shit.
Yeah, he was. I think he was. Maybe he wanted to get caught. I don't know. Who knows?
I know, he's like trying to get caught.
Yeah, and they just know.
He's just
That's an SNL skit, to be honest. Like, you go into a police department and do everything wrong to try to get
in front of the cameras.
And they're
like,
out cold, they're sleeping. Hello!
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Oh, man. All right. So, this episode is going to be...
I mean, sex with dead bodies in general. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's
so, like I said earlier, you know, he committed.
I mean, the sex isn't rough, but
well, it could be rough. You never know how he likes it.
Cold and
he could be going balls deep on this. You know, you just never know. I don't know.
Oh, Dave.
You know who would know? The people that saw the 500 plus videos that he fucking recorded of himself raping these fucking dead women.
No, I feel like the psyche of somebody who has sex with dead bodies, they like calm. Do you know what I mean?
They're like what?
They like calm. Like,
calm.
Like I can see
calm.
Calm. What
okay.
did you say? What did you think I said?
Calm.
No, not calm. Not calm. Calm. They like calm.
Calm.
Like,
yeah.
Like
they don't like the nagging.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they don't like the nagging.
Like when we talked about Kemper.
Yeah, they take their time.
Fucking 30 seconds.
Maybe they might throw up a little little finger right on their lips.
On the lips,
on their blue lips.
Just on their rigor mortis lips.
Oh.
That's fucking nasty. So, yeah, without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Chapter 1. $818,051 photos and 504 videos. Nearly 1 million images that this man, David Fuller, had of himself and his deceased victims. One would be hard-pressed to find parents that have over 800,000 photos of their own children. This man had the audacity to keep the images of the corpses he raped, mementos of these women he had used. For 30 years, he kept these images and videos without them or him being found. Some of these images were kept on a hard drive they had taped to the back of a bureau inside of a closet in his home. Keeping items or photos of the victims is a common occurrence with murderers, rapists, and apparently necrophiliacs. This was a large amount of evidence to be found. He kept the victims' identity bracelets and mortuary log entries. He recorded their names and searched for information about them on social media. With psychopathic precision, he kept files on those he violated in an upstairs office at his home, in which he guarded with CCTV. The police had to sift through millions of pictures on Fuller's computers and hard drives, and they still have yet to identify all of the victims. This man blended in with society, and nobody suspected anything for almost 35 years. He was a family man, married 3 times with 4 children. He appeared to be the doting husband and father. He was an avid bird watcher and photographer, and part of the West Kent Cycle Touring Club, in which members have said that he was a good-humored and keen cyclist before back problems affected his favorite hobby. The victims were already deceased before he visited them, and did God knows what with their bodies. All except 2. He was convicted of actually killing 2 women, Wendy Nell, age 25, and Carolyn Pierce, age 20. These women were also abused after their death by Fuller. Fuller killed Nell and Pierce in 1987, and was just recently convicted for those crimes in 2021. He worked as an electrical maintenance man at Kent and Sussex Hospital from 1989 until it closed in September of 2011. He was then transferred to Tunbridge Wells Hospital at Pembury, where he worked and did his dirty deeds until he was arrested in 2020. So he was potentially raping these dead bodies since 1989. That's 31 years of secretly having relations with these corpses. How does one not get caught in all of that time? It's incredible to think that so many women were abused by this man, and he felt comfortable enough to film and photograph these women and himself. Fuller admitted that one of his victims was as young as 9 years old. He also admitted to being with 2 16-year-old girls, and he had also victimized a 100-year-old woman. This man had no boundaries, but he did have a type. Cold and dead. 818,051 photos, 504 videos, 31 years of access by working in hospitals, 2 murders, 101 bodies he admitted to violating. Life in prison. So 818,051 images and 504 videos. Now, you know, we talked about it. Can you name one parent that has over 800,000 pictures of their own kids? I'm
sure there's a couple out there, but not many.
No, not many. And this dude's just like, just fucking going to town.
The poor investigator that had to sit through and watch all that.
All the video.
You know, because they have to do it. They gotta, you know what they have to go through?
I know.
Oh, what a shitty job. There's just a guy banging a dead body too. Oh, yeah. Man.
Some of them, the youngest was 9 years old.
Oh.
And the oldest...
You just made it real, dude.
The oldest was 100. So...
Ew!
He did not have a type. And
they're morgue bodies too.
Right, yeah.
Oh, so they've been like...
So he did this for over 30 years, all right? We haven't even gotten into the 2 that he actually killed.
Do you think maybe if his back never started hurting him and he could still ride his bike, he wouldn't have went down this dark path, or...
So it makes you think, you know, all these photos, and because this is like hard drive, thumb drive shit. You know what I mean? USBs. So I'm thinking 800,000 Polaroids, you know, because those are instant, you know, it spits out.
Yeah, like a family photo book full of...
Yeah, just like...
And like actual VHS tapes.
Fucking alphabetized. No.
Alphabetized? What do you say?
Alphabetized. These Coronas.
Oh man, that was great. And you make fun of me for affidavit.
So, and then he's got this shit like under fucking camera, under lock key camera, fucking.
It's like Fort Knox up there, dude.
Yeah,
those are his lovers.
He's like, do not touch my VHS tape. Do not imagine he goes in and I don't know if you will understand this, but people my age, you know, in their 40s will understand this. You go to pop in, you know, it's like labeled like Sally Mae or something like that. You go to put it in.
Sally Mae's 5th birthday.
Yeah, it's somebody recorded like fucking...
What, you're like saying there's 10 minutes of Sally Mae's birthday and then it just switches to him just in a morgue. Just shh, I'm going to take care of you today.
Slapping cheeks in the morgue.
Oh, no. Pop.
Make that ass bounce.
Oh, some formaldehyde fucking comes out too. Oh. All right. Keep going.
Oh. So just to piggyback on like having all this media in a locked fucking room under surveillance, he's married 3 times during these 35 years or whatever. He has 4 children. You know, like, what do you say to your kid? That's daddy's room. Don't go in daddy's room.
Yeah.
You know? Do you have a room like that you tell the kids not to go into?
Right.
Yeah.
My office.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
This is mommy and daddy's special.
Oh, you know what's funny? I was gonna try to
hanging from the ceiling.
I was gonna try to play the other side of that, and now that I think about it, I knew everything that was in my parents' house. Like, I would snoop through everything. I even found their fucking sex toys, which creeped me right out.
Wait, their sex toys?
Yes,
or your
dude.
Mom's?
No,
your dad had some too?
Their sex toys.
What?
Yeah, dude, and that fucked my childhood up.
Fucking cock ring with the fucking...
Yeah, a whole bunch of weird shit. I don't even want to talk about it. It's fucking stressing me out.
No. Give me one dad sex toy that you found. That you found of your father.
It was like a prostate massager.
No!
It's like a fucking...
Your father?
Yes. So, like I'm saying, as a kid, as a 10-year-old boy, you snoop, right? You snoop through shit. Remember, I found like knives and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then I found the black bag, the murdered out bag that you can't see through, and I was like, oh no!
Look, mommy, I got a lightsaber.
No, and I was old enough to know what it was, what that shit was. I wish I wasn't old enough to. I wish I went up there like, oh, I got a lightsaber. But I mean, just like every other serial killer too, like when you talk about Raider, like that situation, like with his little box. they all like their little mementos.
Don't touch the box.
That's what I mean. That's you should be as a wife or a family, like anybody in a family or a wife. If your dad has something sealed off that we're not allowed to touch or see or look at, or
right,
that's a big red flag in my opinion.
Yeah, you're definitely looking at it.
Unless you're on camera.
That's true. Yeah, how do you get past that?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It is.
You'd have to climb outside. You have to like put a ladder up and get through out the outside window.
Yeah. Take a picture of the room, hold it up to the camera.
Yeah. So I had 3 brothers growing up, so we'd all be like standing on each other's shoulders, be like, all the way out to the window.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. You're definitely right. You're definitely right about that. I think, how do you hide Daddy's office? Stay out of there.
Yeah.
From your wife too at that point.
800, like I don't think anybody's like I can't put my mind around this.
Yeah, that's not
800,000 photos.
That's not a small filing cabinet.
No, that's like an entire fucking room.
Yeah, that's a collection.
And 500 VHS tapes. Like you actually have to build an addition to your fucking house. So now we'll start going into the women that he actually had a hand in murdering here in chapter 2. Wendy Nell was one of the women Fuller murdered. She was beaten and strangled and sexually assaulted after her death. Wendy's parents were given a bottle of champagne by a well-meaning friend back in 1987 when they finally caught Wendy's killer. That bottle of champagne was thrown out a few years later out of frustration. Wendy's mother stated that she and her husband didn't want to die before knowing who did this to their daughter. Sadly, Bill Nell, Wendy's father, died from cancer in 2017. Wendy's mother, Pamela, was a frail woman in her 80s when she got her day in court. That's when David Fuller finally admitted to murdering and assaulting her daughter. Wendy and 20-year-old Carolyn Pierce were both similar in the fact that Fuller killed them and then sexually assaulted them after death. Carolyn was dumped in a field that Fuller passed by on his bike just weeks before, along with other members of his cycling club. Both women lived alone in ground floor apartments, just a mile apart in Tunbridge Wells, Kent. Their deaths were dubbed the bedsit murders and became one of UK's longest double homicide cases. In 1973, Fuller pleaded guilty to 3 burglaries at Portsmouth's Crown Court and asked for 23 similar offenses to be taken into consideration. When stalking his murder victims, he used the same criminal techniques he had used as a burglar. At around the same time of the killings, there were reports of a prowler looking into the windows of ground floor flats. Wendy was a store manager at Super Snaps in the town center. On the evening that she died, Monday, June 22nd, she left work at 5:30 p.m. and after doing laundry at the laundromat, went to her boyfriend Ian Plass's house. She was there until 11 p.m. when Plass gave her a ride home on his motorcycle, and they said goodbye on her doorstep. The next day, when she didn't show up at work, her co-workers called Ian to see if she was with him. She, of course, was not. Ian went to Wendy's apartment and found her laying on the bed, naked, bloodied, and battered. Detectives believed Wendy's killer had been lying in wait for hours. Her killer took her diary and her keys, and these items have never been found. Ian Plass has since passed away, but in a witness statement that he had given to police, he described the horror of finding his girlfriend's body. Quote, "I recall there was blood everywhere. I could see Wendy's head sticking out from the top of the duvet. The rest of her body was covered. I moved closer and stroked her hair first. I pulled the duvet just back to her shoulders. She was lying on her left side and facing the wall." Carolyn Pierce was killed on Tuesday, November 24th, 1987. She was a manager at Buster Brown's, a burger restaurant in Tunbridge. On the night of her death, she went out with friends and took a taxi back to her apartment in Grosvenor Road. The next day, she didn't show up for work. Her coworkers called the authorities, and 3 weeks later, her body was found 40 miles away in a water-filled drainage ditch near Romney Marsh, naked, apart from the black tights she had been wearing. Like Wendy, she had been battered, strangled, and raped. The sweater and skirt she had been wearing were never recovered, nor were her keys, which were missing from her handbag. Fuller may never have been caught if it wasn't for scientific advances. From the moment a Fuller family member was arrested and a DNA sample added to the national database, the clock was ticking. It was only a matter of time before David Fuller's secret would be exposed. During a cold case review of Wendy and Carolyn's murders, the DNA was found to be a close match to that of the killer of both women. After Fuller was arrested, he said he had no knowledge of the case, but his DNA was an exact match. Eventually, Fuller admitted to killing both Wendy and Carolyn, but claiming he was of abnormal mind at the time, he refused to plead guilty to murder. He blamed his obsession with having sex with corpses on a trauma he had suffered when he was 4 years old. But there was plenty of evidence to suggest that he was capable of normal relationships with women. One former lover described him as a normal and loving man. Criminal AF will be back after this quick break. So I'm going to throw this out there right off the bat, is that so Fuller, he murdered 2 women, Wendy Nell and Carolyn Pierce. We've mentioned this before in another episode. So the 2 women that he killed, he sexually assaulted them post-mortem, and he had sex with over 100 dead women. But yet, he was able to have 4 children with 3 living women. So it makes you think, like we talked about before, you know, like, am I, like, not good enough to be...
Am I not dead enough for you?
Right. I mean, do you not picture me fucking having sex with me dead? Or, like...
You know he probably does.
Yeah, I mean, like how do they decipher whether I'm gonna actually be married to you and, like, live a normal life with you?
I'm sure it wasn't
and then look
normal.
at somebody else and be like, yeah, I'm fucking killing you and having sex with your dead body. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's not normal. I'm sure their relationship's not normal. I'm not saying, I mean, obviously he was married 3 times, so it's not like a healthy fucking marriage, but yeah,
like these people have long-term fucking marriages and relationships, and while they're, like, murdering fucking and having sex with fucking dead bodies and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like God, and this is where, like, the whole psychology thing comes in. Like, I really, like, that interests the fuck out of me. Like, why? Why do you choose this one to fucking kill and have sex with, and this one to have a child with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
It's very interesting that he didn't kind of claim the second murder.
Yeah, that's odd.
I don't recall that when the DNA put him right there, exact killer.
How do you not recall that?
Yeah, especially having, committed so many horrendous crimes over the years, you would remember the 2 personal ones, like the 2 murders. Sure. Yeah. It's not like it's not like giving you, do you remember this name of this deceased person that you were sleeping with in the morgue? Yeah. This was somebody you actually killed. There's no way.
I mean, that would be something that would stick with you, especially, if you've only killed 2 people. Yeah. You would 100% remember.
You also too, you never know if something went down that day where he wants to forget it. You know what I mean? Like, you can never put yourself in the killer's mindset, killing somebody, the interactions, what she says to you that could get in your head. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things in the moment that might put you off towards a crime. So maybe this was like a self-defense thing for him, where he was like, I don't remember it. Yeah. No, I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about. It's you never know. You never know. And
I hear you. It is strange though. Like, why would you not admit?
Yeah, you already admitted to so much.
I know.
You're going away.
Right. And it's kind of like, like with other people too, is there's very few that will come out and like admit to every single one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like Bundy, he admit, there was like 36, but it could have been like over 100.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, nope, I'm not talking about it. Why? You know what I mean? Whether you get convicted of 1 or you get convicted of 100, what's the difference? You know what I mean? You're fucking going away for the rest of your life.
But then there's some guys who will be in jail doing interviews and they'll tell you each person's name and they'll remember the entire encounter.
Yeah.
And they've killed over 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's there's something very personal and you can't tell me you don't remember.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're taking somebody's life. Very personal.
I do sympathize with Wendy's boyfriend though. What was his name? E29. What episode did I mention this on? Did I mention this on Johnny Watt or did I mention it in Random AF? Where my girlfriend had gotten killed in a car accident, and like I was like rubbing her head.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was one of them.
I don't think it was Random AF.
No, but anyways, I can sympathize with him because when he found her, Wendy's body, her head was sticking out of the duvet, and he said one of the first things he did was like stroke her hair. You know what I mean? It just seems to be like.
And the sad part about that too is he's going to be the first person that the police look at.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
100%.
Not only did you just have this traumatic experience, now the police are at your door like, well, where were you?
Yeah.
What
why do you have blood on your hands?
Yeah, why is there blood on your hands?
Yeah.
You touched the body?
Yeah, you stroked her hair?
Like,
okay.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Thank God for DNA. Like in current times, like.
Right, yeah.
Jesus, thanks God. Like, thank you for the national database.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with
that's why I always say, I've said on this podcast before, I don't think there will ever be another prolific serial killer. I don't think there will be. It's too easy to track people. The DNA comes back too fast.
It depends on how you do it.
Oh, mass murders. That's the only way that you can get it. Or school shooters, like where you can rack up numbers that Bundy and like the big guys put up.
You can do it. You can do it for a while.
They're gonna get you.
No, I mean eventually, I'm sure, but you have to do it where technology doesn't play a part. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to go on like a serial killer spree, like
go on, tell us how you're gonna kill a whole bunch of people, Dave.
I'm just saying you could.
No, I like it. Go.
You could. And the best way to do it is either become a transient, a hobo. What do you call it? The train hoppers. Mm-hmm. Become a train hopper. Cross country tractor trailer driver. Things where you're not in one spot for too long. And rather than being up close and personal where you're stabbing them or strangling them or anywhere where there could be some transfer of DNA, you just fucking shoot them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But a lot of these guys, the knife is the thing for them.
No, I get it. But if I just want to go out and go on a killing spree for months, if not years on end, you become a transient, you become a train hopper, you become whatever, where you're crossing state lines, you're crossing county lines, you're crossing town lines, and you're just like picking people off here and there. You just go on, you just keep going for years. You know what I mean? Not saying that I've done it before, I'm just saying, if you want to get away with it.
I love how you just gave a detailed, like, hey, listen, if you want to kill a lot of people. That's funny.
Well, I mean, even in Connecticut, like let's say, well, Connecticut doesn't have counties anymore. Everything's basically run by towns or state police. But anytime there's a murder, state police gets involved. But if you go in like down south or like out west where they actually have counties, you commit a murder in one county and then commit another murder in another county. By the time they make
all the connections,
put 2 and 2 together, you're already like fucking 5-6 states away. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can see it. I can see where your thought is.
I will say again, not that I've done that. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to think of
I'm fucking with you.
I'm trying to think of a present, like
Samuel Little, 93 victims. He did the same thing. He bounced from state to state to state to state to state.
Yeah, you're right.
There was another one, the I fucking something killer. It's like the interstate that goes through like 6 or 7 states.
Oh, in the middle of the
fucking country.
Yeah.
And they're just finding like dead bodies like along this fucking highway. I forget the name of it, but how did we get here?
It almost I don't even remember. It almost sounds not.
Oh, DNA. Yeah.
DNA. Yeah,
there will never be another prolific serial killer. Now, the interesting thing with
it almost
case,
doesn't feel scary to me though.
What?
Like if somebody said somebody's running around, crazy guys running around shooting people from afar, it doesn't have that same prolific serial killer-esque
I got you.
women, torturing.
Yeah. I got you.
Know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you.
If you want
I'm
to do
with
it,
you.
we're continuing amount of time.
That's when I think of prolific serial killers. I think of the stalking,
rape, murder.
Yes.
Fucking
You're just running around shooting people. That's not even.
Right. That's like the DC sniper.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with this case though, with the DNA is like, because DNA actually started becoming like prevalent in the early 90s. Even in this situation, DNA in its, the way we think of it, wouldn't have helped in this case because his DNA was never in a database.
Yeah.
It's what we a lot of people do now is the
23andMe,
Ancestry.com, those genealogy sites where you have a familial relation to the DNA. And this was like 2019, 20, 21.
It's like how our boy in Idaho got caught.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, they're actually saying that there's bodies in fucking Pennsylvania that they're connecting to. Or trying to.
It's getting big. It's getting unzipped now.
It's fucking crazy. So who was David Fuller? Well, let's go into chapter 3 and learn a little bit about Mr. Fuller. Fuller left school at the age of 16 and became an apprentice electrician with the Ministry of Defense of Portsmouth. He married his first wife, Jillian, in 1972, and they had 3 children. He claimed in court that the relationship had ended because she had an affair. He then moved to Tunbridge in Kent and met Sally. Sally and David married in 1982, and Fuller described their 17-year marriage as long-lasting, in-depth, and nice. He said the marriage broke down when she left him for a member of his cycling club. He met his last wife, Mala, while working as an electrician at Kent and Sussex Hospital. They married in Barbados in 1999 and had a son together. In later police interviews, he claimed their relationship was pretty perfect. His wife was seen sobbing in the public gallery during a hearing. It is believed that she learned about the extent of her husband's crimes only that morning. While in custody, Fuller was seen as a pathetic figure. He sat with his head bowed as officers questioned him about his necrophilia. When answered, he spoke in a quiet voice. After lengthy pauses, it became clear that he couldn't bear to describe what he had done. I am admitting the offenses, but I don't really want to go into the detail. Fuller's victims included nurses, teachers, a pilot, a skier, a war veteran, wives and mothers who had nurtured their families. Many were still wearing defibrillators and catheters at the time Fuller abused their bodies. Among those was a 92-year-old World War II hero. Her daughter said he has done the most heinous crimes, something our family must live with daily. David Fuller needs to be in the public eye for the true extent of his offending. He needs to appreciate the scale of what he has done. A father said he could not put into words how disturbing it was to find out what happened to his daughter at Fuller's hands. The brother of another victim said, "He has caused complete and utter devastation. David Fuller has tainted every single memory I have of my sister. All I can think of is what he did to my sister when she was supposed to be resting." Justice Chima Grubb, the presiding judge in Fuller's case, said, "You violated the bodies of all these women, while many were still wearing medical equipment from treatment they had received from doctors trying to save their lives, such as catheters and defibrillator pads. The women you abused were women who lived fulfilling lives. They were the best. One had flown a propeller plane across Iceland. One was a talented skier, and one worked at Bletchley Park during World War II. A number had long marriages. Some had long careers such as teaching and nursing. All had families they nurtured and loved. Some spent their last years in pain, but kept their dignity until you took it from them." Fuller sat expressionless during these statements, only speaking to confirm his name. One man shouted,
Scum.
from the public gallery. Justice Chima Grubb added Fuller had sought out a hospital position to avoid the same publicity as when he killed 2 women. She said, "You obtain a position of maintenance supervisor. I have no doubt you are wary of the risk of continuing to commit sexual offenses given the alertness in the area after the bedsit murders. These roles give you access to areas ordinarily out of bound of the public. Once inside, hidden from CCTV surveillance, you are free to systematically and relentlessly abuse the bodies of at least 100 women and girls. Some were abused shortly after they had died. Once you had captured the sexual abuse for your own pleasure, you reviewed the images and made stills from the videos. One hard drive alone contained 800,000 images and 804 videos. 2,500 floppy disks and 35 mobile phones were found." The judge went on, "I have seen no indication of genuine remorse, just hollow regret that you are now under public scrutiny." Judge Grubb ordered the destruction of the images and videos Fuller took. She added, "You spent years living a lie, the facade of a mild and ordinary life, while in seclusion you committed revolting and outrageous acts of the deepest darkness. You have a family who you deceived over all those years. The depravity of what you did to those you killed and those you defiled after death reveals that your conscience is seared. It is almost impossible to believe that a single man can cause the misery to so many that you have done. But you did it, and in consequence, you are paying the price that human justice can't exact. The rest of your mortal life in prison." Fuller was still working for the NHS Trust when arrested on December 3, 2020, and had access to all areas in both hospitals via a swipeable identity card. He had been employed by Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells NHS Trust since 1989 and would wait for the mortuary staff to finish their shifts before assessing fridges where the bodies were stored. In early of 2022, he admitted to a further 16 charges of assault by penetration and possession of extreme pornography. They relate to the 23 remaining victims, all of whom were dead adult women. 13 have been identified, while 10 remain nameless. The identified women were aged between the ages of 45 and 92. Some were removed from the gurney and placed on the floor, and one was positioned on a chair before the sexual abuse. Some were offended again on multiple days as they waited for postmortems. Prosecutor Michael Bisgrove stated, "A systematic digital library of Fuller's crimes was discovered in his home office. One folder was titled Necro Lord, while another was titled Deadly, with another folder titled Deadliest, and yet another titled Best Yet." Fuller stored multiple videos and still images of each victim and manipulated videos to produce still images where he changed the coloring or removed scars. He used the mortuary logbook, which had names and images of the deceased, to create his file structure. Fuller had made regular Google searches of topics such as rape, torture, and death. His defense lawyer, Catherine Donnelly, said, "It is accepted and understood that profound and untold harm has been caused to a significant number of people. I advance no mitigation, as it is understood that there isn't any." In impact statements read to the court, the victim's family members said his crimes had blighted their memories of their loved ones and taken them back to their grief. They were informed of the crimes at the end of 2021, for some more than a decade after their loved ones' deaths. Detectives only realized the true extent of his crimes when they uncovered what was described by prosecutor Duncan Atkinson as a library of unimaginable sexual depravity concealed in a closet in his home. Also found on the hard drives in Fuller's home were a staggering 4 million indecent images of children, mostly downloaded from the internet. Mostly. The depraved killer was subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. At the time of his sentencing, 81 of the mortuary victims had been identified. However, due to difficulties in identifying all the corpses he abused, and fearing there may have been hundreds of others going back to when Fuller's hospital employment record began, Kent police set up a call center at the conclusion of the trial to deal with any public concerns. The government also announced an independent public inquiry would be held. Following Fuller's conviction, the Kent and Essex Serious Crime Division were able to identify a total of 101 victims. The latest charges are connected to the 23 remaining victims, all deceased adult females whose corpses were abused between 2007 and 2020. An extensive and complex identification process led officers to formally identify 13 of the 23 further victims. Because the authorities could not identify the remaining victims, they wanted the charges to reflect justice for the families and women who were not identified. What a sick and depraved man who led a somewhat normal life. The hard-working husband and father, a man who held the same job for 30 years, unsuspecting average human who had a dark secret and was not what anyone had suspected. His family is also a victim of his crimes. They did not know that their husband and father was sick. They were shocked and appalled to find out the truth about him. There was no telling how many more women he would have abused if he wasn't caught. He could have gone on until his death. His secret brought to his grave. So there's one quote in this story that kind of like stands true to how I view like serial killers and murders and whatnot, is that like you really need to put these people in the public eye for the true extent of what their offending means and the scale of what they have done. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, as gruesome as it is, I find it like absolutely fascinating, like crime scene photos. Like I've said this before, like you can talk about somebody being stabbed 52 times. You can talk about somebody being, have their head bludgeoned. You can talk about somebody being, strangled. What does that look like? Yeah. To get a true understanding of how horrific these crimes are, you have to see the whole picture. You can't just hear the story. You can't just hear somebody talking about it. You can't just read about it. Like you have to visualize. You have to see like how awful this is. I've already looked to see if there's any fucking videos or pictures.
No. Something really cool that just recently happened. It was about the teen in Florida who stabbed his girlfriend 114 times.
Oh, I seen it.
It was a young kid, but I saw a TikTok of her sister on the stand, and all she did was bring up a jar of marbles and throw 114 marbles in the jar and pinged them off the jar, like ping, ping, because she wanted everybody to know how many times 114 was. And when you were listening to each marble hit, it made it real. And it was such a great testimony from her sister, just to be like, you guys, he's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And that's when you just said that, it just brought me back to that her testimony.
Yeah, and that's perfect,
114 times. It sounds crazy, but you don't you don't notice how many times you've been stabbed.
Right. And how long it takes for someone to be stabbed 114 times. So maybe there were hard drives, but he probably did all this when technology caught up. But
I told you, he went to Walmart and he said, "Hey, can you guys transfer my family albums to the hard drive?"
Now you can do that like by yourself. But 800,000 images, 804 videos, all on 2,500 floppy disks and 35 mobile phones.
Well, I mean, 2,500 floppy disks isn't a lot of storage in the grand scheme of things.
No, but
for a couple of some pictures will fill up a floppy disk pretty fast.
Yeah, but now put it in the context of how much space.
804 videos is crazy.
And to go back to what you were saying before, how he didn't willingly admit to the second murder, but yet he's willingly admitting to everything else.
Yeah. It's strange. I feel like something went wrong. We'll never know.
Right.
We'll never know those inner. I mean, that goes for everybody. We'll never know those inner connection that he has with that victim.
Yeah.
In the last moments of her life.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to say something to. At the end of the day, they're still humans. Do you have to be able to throw something out that you're going to be pleading for your life. You're going to be doing something. You got to make it personal in some ways, and that's why I have it. That's complete bullshit. He had something. He took something from that day, and he held on to it.
Well, they were saying that like when her body was found next to along one of the cycling paths, that him and his cycling group would travel, you know. But he had all of his videos and stuff like labeled. Like one folder was like Necro Lord. I think we're gonna call that this is the episode Necro Lord.
Necro Lord.
That's the name of the episode.
It sounds like a porn movie.
Imagine calling yourself I'm the Necro Lord.
He tried to give himself a nickname.
Right. I guess that. But he had like all these folders like deadliest. Like what does that mean? And then there was like another one titled The Best Yet. Like what?
Strange.
Like I want to know what's on these like videos. Like how do you determine like this one's deadly, this one's the deadliest, this one's the best yet? You know what I mean? Like who made the best yet video? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who was on it? Well, I bet you the deadliest was the older ladies. The older ones? Yeah. The deadliest.
What about the folder with what's called Necro Lord?
I don't know.
I'm not laughing at the fucking situation. I'm just like the Necro Lord. Like he actually like came up with that.
It sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons like
right, yeah,
character.
Yeah.
The Necro Lord.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm the Necro Lord.
I'm the Necro Lord. Roll the dice and
fucking play Dungeons and Dragons.
Dude, that would be crazy to like. I don't even know where I was going with it. I'm just thinking about playing Dungeons and Dragons with fucking Fuller.
It's your turn, Fuller. I'm the Necro Lord.
The part that grosses me out the most is that some of these bodies would have the catheters and defibrillators still on and in them. What? Like what? What? And then he would like take stills and then like you said remove scars and like change the color so they looked more alive.
Yeah.
For his little
he
photo
did like
albums
fucking
and stuff.
post-production.
Yeah. And like removing scars, that means if they're on autopsy, like if they're at the morgue, that means they've been checked. Like they have the lines. Their head has been peeled back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a different breed right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know where his wires got crossed, but the fact that he found that like sexually gratifying, there's something weird there.
Put this in context, like they're in the morgue. Okay?
And it was the dead bodies too that turned him on. It wasn't like a specific type of girl, blonde hair. It was anything and everything from the age of 90 plus to 9.
To 9, yeah.
So it was the sole act of having sex with a cold dead body that really got his rocks off.
And that's what I'm trying to like.
Crazy.
I'm trying to put this into context. Like this is the morgue, so people are thinking, oh, okay, the morgue, yeah, that's where they keep the dead bodies. But the morgue is fucking cold. Like these are freezers that they keep the fucking bodies in.
Ugh.
So you know they're like almost like frozen. No, I wouldn't say frozen, but they're pretty near.
Yeah.
You know.
Actually, I'm gonna look that up. What's the temperature
of a morgue?
Of a morgue. Bodies are kept between 36 degrees Fahrenheit and 39 degrees Fahrenheit. So pretty goddamn cold.
Freezing's 32, so 36 to 39.
So that's just above freezing.
It's stiff. It's stiff.
Oh yeah.
Not frozen, but stiff. Yeah.
2 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Celsius for our overseas listeners.
For the people.
Because I know America.
For everybody everybody else in the world.
Because America can't get our shit together. I do kind of like it though.
For everybody
I like
else
that we're
in
the only
world.
people that are like, no, we're not going to agree with you guys. It's a very American thing to do.
So his fetish doesn't just extend to like dead bodies and whatnot. He actually had a whole fucking collection of 4 million images of naked children.
And then you throw in the kiddie porn. What?
Let me get it nice and close. 4 million images of children.
Was he the kiddie porn supplier?
I have no idea.
You can't just put that. I mean, early days of the internet, you could. They didn't have like filters and search
dead
things.
bodies.
This guy was just
kiddie porn.
Deviant.
You know what? Fuck putting him in jail for the rest of his life. This dude needs to have a fucking bullet put through his head.
And then all those families that had to have been notified. after, like, hey, by the way, we know your loved one has been gone for 10 years or whatever. Just FYI, this happened.
We saw this on video. Yeah. What would you do? Okay, your grandmother just passed away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not just okay. Grandmother passed away 10 years ago.
Yep.
You get a phone call. Boom. Hey, we got this guy. We just found out your grandmother was on video 10 years ago after she died, and this dude was fucking railing her. Like, what would you say? How would you
I
react?
wouldn't believe it. Like, I'd be like,
no.
Yeah. Like,
no, come on.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Yeah. Like, how do you identify? Like, how do you...
You can't ever, like...
Do they show you... I mean, obviously they're not going to show you the video. Or do they show you the video? I don't...
If you think about it, if they're trying to identify, you're going to have to identify...
Right, but they're going to do a still photo of the face.
Of your face, yeah. So now this poor person has to look at a still photo, knowing of what's going on in the video.
Right.
Of your grandmother on the morgue table. Like, that's horrible.
Right.
I mean, there's way more people that were hurt by this guy than just the victims. The independent public inquiries, the NHS of England, all the people that, actually tracked down and identified every single victim. Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, at some point you could have been like, oh, it's in the past, they're deceased. Yeah, it's too hard. They really did a good job at actually, notifying these people's families that something happened to their loved one. It goes back to what you said. Like, they actually had to physically sit there and watch through all of these fucking videos. You said it in the story too, that like some of the families in their victim statement said, like, thank you for bringing back my grief. So I mean, it sucks that it happened, but I'm glad that they put so much work and effort into making sure everybody was made whole.
100%.
I get a very so, I mean, obviously, I love movies, and I like think about is if you've ever seen Kill Bill. My name's Chuck.
I never seen it.
And I like to fuck. You never saw it? He's actually a mortuary nurse who has sex with dead bodies. Or they're in comas, sorry. They're in comas.
Oh, they're in comas?
Yeah. And he goes in there with a big old jar of Vaseline. It's fucking gross.
Well, at least they have a pulse.
Yeah, but it's very similar. Yeah. It's very similar. He drives a big wagon that's called the Pussy Wagon. Oh, I can't believe you've never seen Kill Bill, by the way. That's crazy.
I'll check it out one of these times. All right, so that'll do it for this episode of Criminal AF. If you liked what you heard, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review. And don't forget, you can become one of the debauched by joining our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Everyone gets ad-free episodes and access to our Discord channel. Those who join the $5 tier or above get all of our Audible, video, and downloadable content, including narrated scripts from every story, 5-Minute Murder, our Patreon-only Not Safe for Work bi-weekly podcast Random AF, plus our monthly Patreon-only episodes of Dreadful AF. For the higher tiers, you get all of this, plus producer credits on every episode, and some goodies thrown in like t-shirts, posters, coffee mugs, etc. Just go to criminalafpodcast.com/support to choose your tier. Links to our social, support, merchandise, reviews, and more are in the episode description.
And thank you to all the Patreon members, seriously. This is probably the coolest thing that we've...
Love every single... Yeah, everyone
it's definitely the coolest thing that has this podcast brings to us is like the actual community that we're kind of building. And
yeah, it's amazing. Pretty cool. Absolutely.
Love you guys.
So signing off from Studio Chloroform. Keep your head on a swivel and stay safe till next time. Now give me our theme music. See ya. Executive producers for this episode are Christine Rivera, Beth Davis, and Dusty Jay Hicks. Associate producers are Paul Hodge, Noah Schultz, Brooke Morgan, Chantal Seislick, Jay Rawlings, Terry Burke-Wolin, and Bethany Cooper. Producers are Devin Dean, Trent Gobble, JD, Jan O'Donnell, Jessica Lloyd, Lissa Perello, Jenny Crawford, Alicia Knight, Laura Shin, Chris Owen, Maria Celine, Beth Esselman, and Aussie Tracy. This story was researched and written by Dorothy Jari, edited and narrated by Dave Jari. For a narrative-only version of this episode, visit Criminal AF Direct, available wherever you listen to podcasts.